Good Tuesday morning. Glad to see all of you. All members will please come to the floor. All members. Mr. Clerk, will you ring the bell? All members, please come to the floor because the hour convening haven't arrived. All members will please come to the floor. Now we're going to have the morning roll call. All members present will please vote green to signify their presence in the chamber. Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machines? Have all members voted? All members voted their presence in the chamber. All members voted? If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machines? Doorkeepers, will you please close the doors and keep them closed? As is our custom, we will begin our day with scripture reading and prayer by our chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. Our chaplain this morning will be introduced by the gentleman from the 16th House District, and I think he knows our chaplain very well. I'm sure he does. So we'll let him tell you about how he knows our chaplain. So at this time, I'll allow the gentleman from the 16th, Representative Trey Kelly, to introduce our chaplain of the day. Representative Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. It is an honor for me to get to stand before you today and introduce not only my pastor, but my father, Doyle Kelly, to you this morning. Joining my dad is my mom, Laura Kelly. We brought her along not just because we don't trust my dad to drive in Atlanta, but because they're a true partnership, not only in their marriage and raising me and my two brothers, Lee and Matt, but in every part as it relates to their ministry at Worldview Baptist Church. So, Mom, would you please stand for us? Before he was pastor of Worldview Baptist in Cedartown, where me and Savannah attend church, my dad was a teacher and a coach for over 34 and a half years. He coached baseball for over 28 years and retired, spending his last 3 years as the athletic director and head football and baseball coach at Cedartown. He had a great winning record at Cedartown, took our team in both baseball and football deep in the playoffs multiple times. And as a son and as a player for him, I would get great joy in sitting in the stands or in the dugout or on the field and seeing his accomplishments and his wins, seeing how he would mold the young people that were under his care. And that made me proud as a son. But not as proud as I am now to see the work that he does at Worldview Baptist. He's been at Worldview for 10 years this August. Before that, he spent 5 years as pastor in Somerville at 4 Mile Baptist Church. At Worldview, he truly has a vision and a belief that the church should reach out to every corner of the globe and take care of those who need help in the way that Christ has instructed us. He has helped nurture many programs to minister to those in our community who may be a little down on their luck. He has helped build our soup kitchen and has a program to feed those in our community regularly. Recently, the church has taken over our community soup kitchen, and they operate that. They have a van ministry that picks up children who are unable to attend to get to church on their own, and he has a true heart for reaching out to those in our community and serving them through Christ. So it's my honor today, colleagues, to welcome my dad and my pastor, Doyle Kelly. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, member of the House, and guests, it is an honor to be with you this morning. The last time I was with you was in 2019, so it's been a while, but it is an honor to be here. I want to share with you this morning from the book of 1 John chapter 4, and I want to read verses 14 through 16. I still consider myself a coach. I'm just coaching for a different team, and I have found out coaching for this team I'm on now, we always win. And we're going to win at the very end. So I don't have to worry about wins and losses. But I want to share with you what it says in 1 John chapter 4, verses 14 through 16. And it says this, "And we have seen and testify that the Father has sent the Son as Savior of the world. Whoever confesses that Jesus is the Son of God, God abides in him, and he in God. And we have known and believed the love that God has for us. God is love, and he who abides in love abides in God, and God in him." The verses I read are the testimony of the disciple John. But notice how it's also the testimony for every true believer of Jesus Christ. In verse 14, John declares that he and every believer has seen and do testify that the Father sent his Son, Jesus Christ, to be the Savior of the world. And in verse 15, he gives the great promise to the whole human race. Now, the Apostle Paul, he also shares the same thing with us in Romans chapter 10, verse 9 and 10. And this is what we have to believe. Paul says in Romans chapter 10, verse 9 and 10, he says that if you confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus Christ and believe in your heart that God has raised him from the dead, you shall be saved. For with the heart one believes unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made known unto salvation. And then in verse 16, John says, we have known and believed the love of God has for us. And what is it that we have to ask ourselves, what is it that John knew and believed? What is the early disciples, what is it they knew and believed? Well, there's three things that they knew and believed. The first one is that God is love and that God sent his son, Jesus Christ, to be the Savior of the world. John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, and that whosoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life." Has everlasting life. And y'all, that verse right there, this is the way we know that God is love, by sending his son, Jesus Christ. The second thing is that the believers must love. That is, they must abide and dwell in love, and they must love one another with all their hearts. In John chapter 13, verse 35, it says, "People will know that we are his disciples, that we are Jesus Christ's disciples by our love for one another." We are to love one another, and not just with a little bit of love. It says we're to love one another with all our hearts. So we're to love everyone. Third, that loving one another is the way that we can tell that we are saved. If we abide and dwell in love, then we abide in God and God in us. The way we know we abide in God and he in us is by our love. Why? Because God is love. God is love. Therefore, if we have the nature of God in us, we are loving people just as God loved them. And if we're not loving people, then I hate to tell you, we do not have the nature of God in us. And we can't pick and choose who we love. If we have the nature of God in us, we're to love everyone. And if we're not doing that, then we don't have the nature of God. The proof that we are saved and that we have the nature of God is by loving people and by loving everyone. And folks, that's hard. It's hard. I'm telling you, even as a pastor, I've had people to do me wrong in the past. But in the Bible, it tells us not only we're to love everyone, but we're also to love our enemies. Start trying to love your enemies. Just start praying for them. And I promise you, God will allow you to do that. So we're to love everyone. I just want to share this. Jesus did not simply preach about the love of God. No, he proved his love by dying on the cross for you and for me. He proved it on the cross. And if we abide in Jesus Christ, we will abide in his love. And if we abide in his love, then we must share his love with others. We're not just to receive his love and that be it. And that's what a lot of people, they believe, oh, I've received his love, I've received salvation, I know where I'm going, and that's it. But that's not what it's all about. Let me just remind you, if you know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, we are followers, we are disciples, we are ambassadors of Jesus Christ, and because of that, we are to share this love, his love, with other people. We're to love everyone regardless of race, nationality, whether they're rich, whether they're poor. It doesn't matter where they come from or who they are. We are to love everyone. And that's what God has showed me, is to love everyone. And that's what I'm trying to do in the community I live in, is trying to get our church to understand that we are to love everyone, regardless of who they are. And I want to ask you these two questions before I close. Do you truly love God? Do you truly love God? And if you do, does your love show it? I want to challenge you this morning as you go about your daily lives to love others as God loves you. And I want you to stand with me right now as we pray. I want to thank you once again for allowing me to be here. And I just want to thank Speaker Burns. And I just want to thank your house for all you do. It's amazing for all you do for the state of Georgia. Thank you. Dear God, we thank you so much, Lord, for this wonderful day. I thank you, Lord, for the time you allowed me, Lord, just to speak and just share your word and to share the love you put in my heart to share about Jesus Christ. And I pray for each one in this room right now, Father. I pray, Lord, that you would just move in their lives in a mighty way. I pray, God, you just allow them to be a light for you. I pray, Lord, that you put a hedge of protection around each and every one in this room. And I pray, God, that everyone in this room, God, we would love one another as God, as you loved us. I pray for Speaker Burns. I thank you, God, for him. I thank you, Lord, for the work he's doing. I pray, God, for wisdom for him. I pray for wisdom for this house. But God, I thank you most of all for Jesus Christ, for the one who died on the cross. And because of him, we can have everlasting life. Father, I thank you now for this time you've given me to share. Father, I love you and I praise you. And it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Awesome, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Doorkeepers, you may open the doors. Members, you may join Brother Doyle in the South Ante room. Thank him for his service today and get a photo. Members, if I can have your attention, please. We have a couple of special guests this morning. I'm going to introduce one of them right now that's joined us from, well, just in the neighborhood, but from Washington, D.C. as one of our members of our congressional delegation to Washington. From the 6th Congressional District, Representative Lucy McBath. She's doing a great job for us in Washington, D.C. We appreciate your service, because the U.S. House is a much tougher place to serve than the Georgia House. I hope y'all will agree with me on that. So we appreciate you. Thanks for being with us. First time she's been in the chamber, and so we just very much welcome her here. And certainly I hope y'all will join Representative McBath in the South Ante room and get a photo with her before she has to depart. Are you going to have a few minutes before you leave?
Yeah, I'm going to the Senate side today. Yeah, but I have a...
You can have a photo with her in the South Ante room in just a minute. Thanks for being here. Members, may I have your attention again, please? We're blessed this morning. All trails lead to the Georgia Capitol this morning. So a dear friend to many of us in this room and a former member of the Georgia House, the gentleman who represents the second congressional district here in Georgia, a great district that spans a lot of West Georgia and South Georgia, great agricultural district, manufacturing, and he's been a key player in advancing the interests of all Georgians. Is a friend and a mentor to many of us in this room is Congressman Sanford Bishop, former member of this House. Congressman Sanford Bishop, give him a house welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker and ladies and gentlemen of the House. It does my heart good to be here. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. I am so glad to be here. This is where I got my start. This is where I learned the fundamentals of government. And I just want to share with you this moment just a few words. I want to start out with a poem. God give us men. A time like this demands strong minds, great hands, true faith, and ready hands. Men whom the lust of office does not kill, men whom the spoils of office cannot buy. Men who possess opinions and a will, men who have honor, men who will not lie, men who can stand before a demagogue and damn his treacherous flatteries without winking. Tall men, sun-crowned, who live above the fog in public duty and in private thinking. For while the rabble with their thorn-worn creeds, their large professions and their little deeds, mingled in selfish strife, low freedom weeps, wrong rules the land, and waiting justice sleeps. God give us men and women like the members of this Georgia General Assembly. We have the greatest state legislature in the country. We have a fiscally responsible state government. We have great leadership, and I'm delighted to be here where I got my roots.
Members, give our distinguished guest your attention, please. I'm going to ask him to repeat part of what he just said. You're the beneficiaries of it. So, Congressman.
We have, I believe, the greatest legislature in the country, fiscally responsible, and I think we've got the most fiscally responsible state in the nation. And I am proud to have gotten my political genesis right here in this House. And so I know that I join with you in utilizing this space, this time, this place, to work for and in behalf of the people for whom we promise to represent. You do that, and you do it well. We represent the same people. We have the same constituencies, and my duty is to represent the people of my congressional district, of the state of Georgia, and the people of the United States of America. We can do that. We should look beyond party labels. The policies that we enact should not be Democrat or Republican parties, but should be American policies. And you join with us on the local level, the state level, and the federal level to work for and in behalf of the American people. And I am so glad to have gotten my political beginnings right here in Georgia, in this House, in the Senate across the hall, and it taught me the meaning of government. You do what should be done. Isn't it strange how princes and kings and clowns that caper in sawdust rings and common folks like you and me are builders for eternity? Each is given a set of rules, a shapeless mass and a set of rules, and each must make ere life is flown a stumbling block or a stepping stone. Thank you, as members of this General Assembly, as representatives of the people of Georgia, for not being stumbling blocks, but for being stepping stones for a higher and a better quality of life for all of the people of Georgia. Thank you. God bless you.
There's no doubt you've always been a stepping stone, and we appreciate your service here and in Washington. God bless you. Our doctor of the day today is Dr. Rita Livingston King. She's brought to us by Chairman Jesse Petrie. Thank you, Dr. King, for serving us today. We now recognize Chairman Hilton, the chairman of the Committee on Information and Audits. Chairman Hilton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Happy Fat Tuesday. Your Committee on Information and Audits. It took us a long weekend, but we read it all. And we found the journal to be correct.
Thank you for your diligence. Chairman Hilton, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, reports that the journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is there any objection to dispense with the reading of the journal? Hearing none, the reading of the journal is dispensed with. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? Hearing none, and the journal is confirmed. Mr. Clerk will read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day. Mr. Clerk.
Representative Illustration of the 104th moves finally be established as the order of business during the first part of the period. Unanimous consents. Introduction of bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of House bills and resolutions. Second reading of bills and resolutions. Reports of standing committees. Third reading and passage of uncontested local bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of Senate bills and resolutions. Morning orders.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? Hearing none, the resolution is adopted. First reading of bills and resolutions, Mr. Clerk will read.
House Bill 1292 by Representative Fry, the 122nd, Bonner, the 73rd. Hitchens, the 161st, Holcomb, the 101st, Prince, the 132nd, and others. The bill being titled an Act to Amend Article 3, Chapter 6, and Title 31 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to Certificate of Need Program.
Health.
House Bill 1293 by Representative Jones, the 47th, Martin, the 49th, Dickey, the 134th, Carpenter, the 4th, Fleming, and the 114th. Bill be titled an Act to Amend Chapter 4, Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to vocational, technical, and adult education.
Higher education.
House Bill 1294 by Representative Lupton of the 83rd, Townsend of the 179th, Lim of the 98th, and Wilkerson of the 38th. The bill be titled an Act to Amend Part 3 of Article 16 to Chapter 2 of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to student health in elementary and secondary education.
Education.
House Bill 1295 by Representative Cooper, the 45th, Stevens, the 164th, Hawkins, the 27th, Iowa, the 50th, and LaHood, of the 175th. The bill be titled an Act to Amend Article 4, Chapter 34, Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to physician's assistants.
Health.
House Bill 1296 by Representative Mompton of the 17th, Hitchens, the 161st, Bonner, the 73rd, Cannon, the 172nd, Prince, the 132nd, and others. Bill be titled an Act to Amend Article 1 of Chapter 1 of Title 37 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to general provisions for governing and regulation of mental health.
Public Safety and Homeland Security.
House Bill 1297 by Representative Meeks of the 179th, a bill be titled Act to authorize the assessment and collection of a technology fee by the Magistrate Court of Pierce County.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
House Bill 1298 by Representative Cannon of the 172nd, Corbett of the 174th, Huddleston of the 72nd, Kelly of the 16th, Lackman of the 146th. The bill be titled Act to amend Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated related to revenue and taxation.
The Ways and Means.
House Bill 1299 by Representative Jaspers of the 11th, Burchett of the 176th, Osteen of the 169th, Barton of the 5th, Gunner of the 8th, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Article 4 of Chapter 7 of Title 31 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to county and municipal hospital authorities.
Governmental Affairs.
House Bill 1300 by Representative Seaball of the 34th, Camp of the 135th, Jones of the 47th, Rice of the 139th, Kelly the 16th, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Code Section 23-634 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to savings trust accounts.
Higher Education.
House Bill 1301 by Representative Parsons of the 44th, Stevens of the 164th, Kelly the 16th, Park of the 107th, Smith of the 18th, and others. Bill be titled an Act to amend Code Section 393.14 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to requirements relating to consumer reports.
Agriculture and Consumer Affairs.
House Bill 1303 by Representative Kelly the 16th, Smith of the 18th, Lumsden of the 12th, Fincher of the 23rd, Panich of the 51st. Bill be titled an Act to amend Article 5 of Chapter 5 of Title 16 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to cruelty to children.
Judiciary Non-Civil.
House Bill 1304 by Representative Barnes of the 86th, Gisler of the 121st, Renner of the 85th, Park of the 107th, Ridley of the 22nd, and others. The bill be titled an Act to amend Part 3 of Article 1 of Chapter 3 of Title 46 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to sale of electricity.
Energy, Utilities, and Telecommunications.
House Bill 1305 by Representative Crowe of the 118th, Camp of the 135th, Washburn of the 144th, Paris of the 142nd, Powell of the 33rd. Bill be titled an Act to amend Chapter 41 and Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to residential and commercial general contractors.
Regulated Industries.
House Bill 1306 by Representative Jones of the 25th, Cox of the 28th, Chastain of the 7th, Bonner of the 73rd, and Cannon of the 172nd. Bill be titled an Act to amend Chapter 5A, Title 50 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the Office of State Treasurer.
Banks and Banking.
House Bill 1307 by Representative Roberts of the 52nd, Lupton of the 83rd, Holcomb of the 101st. Bill be titled Act to amend an Act to incorporate the city of Brookhaven into DeKalb County.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
House Bill 1308 by Representative Silcox of the 53rd, Hilton of the 48th, Jones of the 47th, Rice of the 139th, and Cox of the 28th. Bill be titled an Act to amend Chapter 2, Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to elementary and secondary education.
Education.
House Bill 1309 by Representative Newton of the 127th, Stevens of the 164th, Taylor of the 173rd, and Buckner of the 137th. Bill be titled an Act to amend Article 7, Chapter 4, Title 26 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to practitioners of the healing arts.
Health.
House Bill 1310 by Representative Ford of the 170th, Dickey of the 134th, Meeks of the 178th, Osteen of the 169th, Williams of the 168th, and others. Bill be titled an Act to amend Article 3, Chapter 3 of Title 50 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to other state symbols.
Special Rules.
House Bill 1311 by Representative Santos of the 117th and Crawford of the 89th. Bill be titled an Act to amend Chapter 15 of Title 9 and Chapter 6 of Title 13 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to court and litigation costs.
Judiciary.
House Bill 1312 by Representative Santos of the 117th and Crawford of the 89th. Bill be titled an Act to amend Part 3 of Article 4, Chapter 11 of Title 16 and 19 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to carrying and possession of firearms.
Judiciary Non-Civil.
House Bill 1313 by Representative Evans of the 57th, Miller of the 62nd, Roberts of the 52nd, Clark of the 108th, Cannon of the 58th, and others. Bill be titled an Act to amend Title 16 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to crimes and offenses.
Judiciary non-civil.
House Bill 1314 by Representative Lim of the 98th, Washburn of the 144th, Clark of the 108th, and Baird of the 24th. The bill be titled an act to amend Article 2, Chapter 3, Title 7 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating to operating procedures.
Banks and banking.
House Resolution 1346 by Representative New of the 40th, Alexander of the 66th, Momtahan of the 17th, Gullett of the 19th, Kelly the 16th, and others. A resolution honoring the life of Xander Trayvon Watley and dedicating an intersection in his memory.
Transportation.
House Resolution 1347 by Representative New of the 40th, Alexander of the 66th, and Baker of the 64th. A resolution honoring the life of Mr. Andrew Drew Keith Slay and dedicating a bridge in his memory.
Transportation.
House Resolution 1348 by Representative Powell the 33rd, Wilkerson the 38th, Kelly the 16th, Glaze the 67th, Hughley the 141st, and others. A resolution proposing an amendment to the Constitution so as to provide that the qualification, duties, and salary of the school superintendent shall be established.
Governmental affairs.
Senate Bill 476 by Senator Tillery of the 19th, Walker the 20th, Anna Devard of the 31st, Huffstetler of the 52nd, Robertson the 29th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Title 33 and Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating to insurance and revenue and taxation.
Ways and means.
Senate Bill 477 by Senator Tillery of the 19th, Walker the 20th, Anna Devard of the 31st, Gooch of the 51st, Robertson the 29th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 2, Chapter 7 and Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating to imposition rate, computation, exemptions, and credits relative to income taxes.
Ways and means.
That completes first readers.
Members, if you will join me in welcoming a former member of this House from Baldwin and Putnam and some more counties down there, but from Milledgeville, Georgia, Representative Ken Vance. Let's welcome Ken back to the House. Second reading of bills and resolutions. Mr. Clerk will read.
House Bill 1274 by Representative Reeves of the 99th, Lumpson of the 12th, Kelly of the 16th, Astration of the 104th, Hong of the 103rd, and others. A bill relating to regulation of rates, underwriting rules, and related organizations. House Bill 1275 by Representative Newton of the 127th, Hawkins of the 27th, Cooper of the 45th, Owl of the 50th, Taylor of the 173rd. A bill relating to medical practice. House Bill 1276 by Representative Newton of the 127th, Astration of the 104th, Hawkins of the 27th, Cooper of the 45th, Taylor of the 173rd. A bill relating to public assistance. House Bill 1277 by Representative Barton of the 5th, Jaspers of the 11th, Campbell of the 171st, Hagan of the 156th, and McDonald of the 26th. A bill relating to environmental policy in highways, bridges, and ferries. House Bill 1278 by Representative Hawkins of the 27th, Stevens of the 164th, Green of the 154th, Newton of the 127th, Schofield of the 63rd, and others. A bill relating to general provisions relative to dentists, dental hygienists, and dental assistants. House Bill 1279 by Representative Carson of the 46th, Hierta of the 152nd, Mathis of the 133rd, Cameron of the 1st, Gamble of the 15th, and others. A bill relating to general provisions relative to state sales and use taxes. House Bill 1280 by Representative Carpenter of the 4th, Ridley of the 6th, and Tarvin of the 2nd. A bill relating to equalization of assessments. House Bill 1281 by Representative Montehan of the 17th, Hagan of the 156th, Mathis of the 133rd, Gollett of the 19th, Chastain of the 7th, and others. A bill relating to general provisions relative to the Department of Early Care and Learning. House Bill 1282 by Representative Smith of the 18th, Gunter of the 8th, Hong of the 103rd, Scoggins of the 14th, Sains of the 180th. A bill relating to exclusions for certain offenses involving a victim under 16 years of age. House Bill 1283 by Representative Panich of the 51st, Gunter of the 8th, Hagan of the 156th, Holcomb of the 101st, Roberts of the 52nd. A bill relating to family violence and discovery. House Bill 1284 by Representative Silcox of the 53rd, Burns of the 159th, Parrish of the 158th, Irwin of the 32nd, Donatucci of the 105th, and others. A bill relating to local boards of education. House Bill 1285 by Representative Chokas of the 151st, Stevens of the 164th, Barrett of the 24th, Williams of the 148th, Hong of the 103rd, and others. A bill relating to sales and use taxes. House Bill 1286 by Representative McDonald of the 26th, DeLoach of the 167th, LaHood of the 175th, Jaspers of the 11th, and Williams of the 168th. The bill relating to highways, bridges, and ferries. House Bill 1287 by Representative McDonald of the 26th, a bill relating to the Department of Transportation. House Bill 1288 by Representative Cummings of the 39th, Dawson of the 65th, Flournoy of the 74th, Panich of the 51st, Beckles of the 96th, and others. A bill relating to collection of DNA samples and time and procedure for withdrawal of blood samples. House Bill 1289 by Representative Cummings of the 39th, Campbell of the 35th, Dawson of the 65th, Flournoy of the 74th, Beckles of the 96th, and others. A bill relating to sexual offenses. House Bill 1290 by Representative Hilton of the 48th, Cooper of the 45th, LaHood of the 175th, Fincher of the 23rd. A bill relating to protection of elder persons. House Bill 1291 by Representative Gisler of the 121st, Park of the 107th, Douglas of the 78th, and Okoye of the 102nd. A bill relating to income taxes. House Bill 1302 by Representative Gamble of the 15th, Seabaugh of the 34th, Wade of the 9th, Dubnik of the 29th, Irwin of the 32nd, and others. A bill relating to education, labor, and industrial relations and state government. Senate Bill 400 by Senator Burns of the 23rd, Hickman of the 4th, Hufstetler of the 52nd, Payne of the 54th, Dixon of the 45th, and others. A bill relating to non-public post-secondary educational institutions. Senate Bill 444 by Senator Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, Watson of the 1st, Hodges of the 3rd, Harbison of the 15th, and Walker of the 20th. A bill relating to certification of private review agents. 3 second readers.
Reports of standing committees, Mr. Clerk will read.
Representative Lauren McDonald, the 26th District Chairman of the Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination Local, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination Locals had under its consideration the following bills of the House and Senate. This instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 1083 do pass. House Bill 1084 do pass. House Bill 1092 do pass. House Bill 1140 do pass. House Bill 1186 do pass. House Bill 1205 do pass. House Bill 1241 do pass by substitute. House Bill 1245 do pass. House Bill 1246 do pass. Senate Bill 348 do pass. House Bill 1168 do pass. And Senate Bill 407 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Lauren McDonald, the 26th District Chairman. Representative John Corbett of the 174th District, Chairman on the Committee on Motor Vehicles, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Motor Vehicles has had under its consideration the following bill of the House. It instructed me reports back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 1191 do pass. Respectfully submitted. Representative John Corbett of the 174th District, Chairman. That completes the reading of the reports of standing committees.
Members, if you'll get close to your seats, we do have a local calendar this morning, and there are a couple bills with homestead exemptions. 2 bills on this calendar do relate to homestead exemption. They will require a 2/3 roll call vote for passage. Third reading and passage of uncontested local bills. If there is no objection, we will vote on the local calendar as a whole with a recorded vote. Hearing none, it is so ordered. Mr. Clerk will read the local calendar.
House Bill 1083 by Representative Leverett of the 123rd Madison County. House Bill 1084 by Representative Leverett of the 123rd Madison County. House Bill 1092 by Representative Yurda of the 152nd Dougherty County, Lee County. House Bill 1140 by Representative Hagan in the 156th Ben Hill County. House Bill 1186 by Representative Stevens, the 164th City of Garden City. House Bill 1205 by Representative Dickey, the 134th City of Yatesville. House Bill 1241 by substitute by Representative Crawford of the 89th City of Decatur. House Bill 1245 by Representative Cameron of the 1st Walker County. House Bill 1246 by Representative Anderson of the 10th City of Clayton. Senate Bill 346 by Senator Lucas of the 26th Hancock County. House Bill 1168 by Representative Huddleston of the 72nd Heard County. Senate Bill 407 by Senator Dickerson of the 21st Cherokee County.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered on the local calendar? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bills? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall these bills now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bills on the local calendar will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machine? On the passage of the local calendar, the yeas are 165, the nays are 1. The bills having received the requisite constitutional majority are therefore passed. We have some special morning orders this morning. I think it's going to take us more than one day to solve the world's problems. So at least if half of these conversations could be taken to the ante room, how about if we take all of them? Members, take your conversations outside. We'll have our morning orders. Give the member in the well your respect, please. Representative Berry is recognized for up to 2 minutes as we have our moment in Black history. And I think you have some friends that, yes, friends will join him in the well. The gentleman is recognized. Give it just a moment. Let some folks join you. Whoa. You're not recognized yet. Don't get excited. It's not your first time. Representative Bryce Berry is recognized. The gentleman is recognized. Start again. Wait a minute. We have to get the microphone's not on yet.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now you're ready. Gentleman's recognized.
For today's Black History Month moment, I want to take a moment to honor another history maker amongst us. He really needs no introduction. It's Mr. 100 himself, Mr. Dewey McClain. Dewey's journey began long before he arrived here after an outstanding athletic career who had brought him to the NFL as a linebacker. He didn't rest on the prestige of a uniform or the applause of fans. Instead, he brought the same grit and teamwork from the field into the fight for the rights for workers. In 2013, Dewey took on the mantle of president of the Atlanta, North Georgia Labor Council, becoming a leading voice for workers across Metro Atlanta and beyond. That role wasn't just administrative, it was transformational. Under his leadership, the Labor Council emphasized coalition building, community focus, and education about workers' rights as fundamental rights, ensuring that labor justice became a living, breathing part of the social progress in our region. His work in this legislature has carried the same torch, fighting for an increased minimum wage, workplace justice, and of course, mopeds. He is the champion of any and all policy that gives working families the chance to thrive. Because for Dewey, what's right is right, and you never do what's wrong. No matter what party, what race, or political leaning you identify with, you always do what's right. But on a personal note, and this part is especially important to me, Dewey has been much more than a colleague. He's been a mentor, a guide, and a constant reminder of what leadership looks like when it's rooted in humility, and service, and love for community. Not many people would celebrate young people taking charge and running for office. Many tell us to wait our turn. Not Dewey. Dewey builds a ladder, and he gives a helping hand on his way up. He doesn't just teach. He models the kind of courage that steers you straight when policies try to steer you sideways. And I'll be honest with you, I still have not figured out how to get rid of him, Mr. Speaker. Since you decided not just to put his office next to mine, but to sit me next to him in the chamber. And it's only right that I get his office whenever he chooses to leave. But that's exactly why we honor him today. Not just because he has endured, but because he has used every one of these years to expand freedom and opportunity for others. So, in the celebration of Black history and Black leadership, recognize that this house is divided on a lot, but united in one thing. We all love Dewey McClain. And we do have a gift for you, Representative Carter, from the best office suite. We have a gift for you. It's on your desk.
Is it a recliner? He loves recliners.
It's a book on the history of football for Representative McClain from our office, the best suite, 509.
All right.
Thank you.
You gonna cry, Dewey?
Thank you, Representative McClain. You're special to all of us. And thank you for what you've done for the people of Georgia. And he can still lay a lick on you, too, he looks like to me.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Were you at the vote?
Representative Dewey McClain. Great moment right here today.
Yeah, yo, Mr. Speaker, they got me with that one.
Members, we have a couple of opportunities here to recognize some Georgians. So I'm going to ask you to return to your seats. I'm going to ask you to stand with me. Members, if you would join me and stand, Representative Chaz Cannon is recognized for a morning order. And some friends. Yes, sir. Gentleman Hope. Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I rise this morning to honor the life and legacy of Louis Perry, Jr., who we all call Big Louie. I just want to summarize the resolution we have here but very lengthy resolution, summarize it, and then give Representative Ford a chance to make some remarks as well. Big Lou was born on March 10, 1939 in Piney Woods Farms in Colquitt County, Georgia. He lived and worked for his entire life at Piney Woods Farms, which is a Georgia Centennial farm and was established in 1830. He returned to his home to become the 5th generation to operate Piney Woods Farms, while later raising the 6th and 7th generations as a part of the Centennial Farms family history. And he was united in love and marriage to his wife Becky, and was blessed with 4 remarkable children: Laura, little Louie, Jonathan, and Amanda Perry, and 6 wonderful grandchildren. Some of them are in the chamber to my right over here by the wall today. Big Louie was a passionate farmer who was a continuous member of the Georgia Farm Bureau since he was 13 years old, in addition to being a member of the Colquitt County Farm Bureau's Board of Directors. He diligently advised numerous elected officials on the importance of Georgia's farms and farmers, including, but not limited to, Saxby Chambliss, Sanford Bishop, Johnny Isaacson, Jimmy Carter, Sonny Perdue, and Roy Barnes. His contributions to agricultural research, political advocacy, and inclusion in the industry left a legacy felt by generations of farmers across Georgia and rural communities nationwide. He was a compassionate and generous man. Big Louie will long be remembered for his love of family, friendship, and community, and will be missed by all who had the great fortune of knowing him.
Thank you. Louis Perry's influence on agriculture in Georgia will not soon be forgotten. Louis would oftentimes travel to D.C. on his own dime to work on farm bill issues that not only benefited his own farm, but the successful outcomes reaped from his work benefited farmers and rural communities across the country. I, along with countless others, owe much of our success and leadership opportunities in agriculture to Louis. In fact, I might not be standing here if it were not for him. You see, he not only put in the work, but he looked for talent in future leaders to ensure that his industry might continue to thrive. He also saw the change and diversity needed to move agriculture forward. When he recruited me, he said that women could do twice as much work as a man. And I felt like he knew that to be true, since he was the father of 2 sons and 2 daughters. I know that I can speak for everyone standing here when I say we are grateful to Louis Perry, Jr. and his contribution to agriculture in the state of Georgia. Our hearts go out to his family, who continue to mourn this tremendous loss. May we take a moment of silence, please. Thank you.
Not only a giant in Georgia agriculture, but a giant in caring about his fellow man and his neighbor. Thank you, family, for being here, and we'd love to get a photo with you before you leave the chamber. Members, if you'll remain standing, we're going to recognize Representative Tangi Herring for another remembrance and condolences. Members, if you'll remain standing.
If I could please have Representative Fry, Rhodes, Jones, and if I could please have Representatives Fry, Rhodes, Jones, and Gissler join me here.
Yeah, if y'all would please join Representative Herring.
And Gaines, sorry.
And Gaines. Lady will suspend just for a moment. Ladies recognized. Not quite yet. Ladies recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize a group of young leaders who have taken unimaginable loss and turned it into purpose, action, and hope. The fight against suicide was founded in 2021 in memory of a University of Georgia graduate, Sam Ashbury. In 2020, Sam tragically took his own life. On outward appearance, Sam had it all. He was a UGA graduate beginning his career at a prestigious firm in Atlanta, and he was well loved. Despite all of this, Sam was fighting a heartbreaking battle with his own mental health. In the face of the loss, his friends and family made a choice to speak openly about his mental health, to stand up for one another and make a difference so no one would have to struggle alone. They built something powerful. the fight against suicide is providing action in addition to awareness around mental health on college campuses. They meet students where they are and give them tools to build resilience, seek help, and support one another. Through student-led events, wellness initiatives, and suicide prevention training, they have created a connection before isolation takes place, teaching young people how to have a conversation and how to help save lives. I'm proud to be the sponsor of House Bill 1045, which will add information about 988 You Are Not Alone hotlines in middle school and high school students' identification badges to help lower these incidents of suicide in those ages 15 to 25. Sadly, suicide is the second leading cause of death in this age group. Today, we are honored to recognize the founders of the fight against suicide who are with us here in the gallery. If you would please stand. Their founder and director, David Edmondson, Jackson Stewart, Baylor Wedge, John Fiveash, Stephanie Johnston, and Cooper Heath are here with us today. We are also honored to recognize and have with us Sam's father, David, whose strength and commitment has helped carry this mission forward. I want to give a special recognition to David Ashbury, founder of Sam Ashbury Foundation, which supports and provides oversight for this work to continue and expand its impact. Mr. Speaker, this organization is breaking the silence around mental health. They are building a community, encouraging conversations, and reminding young people that they are not alone. Because of their work, lives are being changed and lives are being saved. It is my honor to recognize the fight against suicide for their leadership, their courage, and their commitment to others. Members of the House, please join me for a moment of silence to honor the life of Sam Ashbury. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Thank you for those condolences. Let's welcome our guest and thank you for your work. If you'll please stand again so we can recognize you appropriately.
And Mr. Speaker, one of them, the Fiveash is his brother Carter was in my second grade class over 20-ish years ago. So it's a pleasure to see you.
To the Ashbury family, our condolences. But thank you for caring about your neighbors and caring about our future. This is certainly a priority for the House, too, and we encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. Join with us as we work on mental health issues, especially at what a life cut way too short. Sam looked like a very wonderful young man with a bright, bright future. So thank you all for what you're doing for your neighbors. We appreciate you. Representative Ann Allen Westbrook. Members, if you would join with me in also standing again for condolences on a loss down in Savannah. Representative Ann Allen Westbrook is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, colleagues, for joining me in rising to recognize an extraordinary public servant who we tragically lost much too early yesterday morning in a motor vehicle accident. Much may be said about her death in the coming days, but we want to take today to remember her life. Dr. Linda Davis was a wife, a mother of 4 children, an educator, a doctor of transformative leadership. She taught special education students at Hess K-8 school in Chatham County. Prior to that, she taught at Otis Brock Elementary School. She is survived by her wife and 4 children. But as I said today, we just want to remember all that she gave to the children of Chatham County, which is evidenced by the beautiful picture that we've got displayed. So please join me in a moment of silence for Dr. Linda Davis and give thanks for all that she did in her life. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Thank you, Representative Westbrook. Tragic loss, no doubt. All right, we're moving on to morning orders. We're going to recognize now. We have several morning orders. Not a lot left, but we do have a good many. So I'm going to ask members to hold your comments on your morning order to 1 minute or less. Representative Townsend. Representative Rick Townsend. The gentleman, and then Representative Panich, you'll be recognized next. You're on deck. Representative Townsend and friends.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentlemen, well, your attention, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We've got over 50 people here from the Golden Isles, McIntosh, Camden, and Glenn County visiting the Capitol. And of course, tonight, I think they're running late for meetings. I don't see them right now, but they're here, and they'll probably see you out there in the hallways. But we're having that dinner tonight, Low Country Boy. We want to invite you to that. It's at 5 o'clock, Wild Shrimp. Buddy Deloach vouches for it, of course. But it's the best shrimp around. We're looking forward to it, Mr. Speaker. It is a wild shrimp. Begins at 5 o'clock at the depot. You're more than welcome to come. And again, we appreciate and love the Golden Isles, guys. And we have a great group here. When you see them, please talk to them. And again, welcome from the well, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Panich and friends are recognized. Our friend? No, there come friends. Ladies recognized.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. The Honorable Stacey Heydrich of the DeKalb Superior Court is retiring from the bench after 14 distinguished years of judicial service to the people of Georgia. I have had the privilege of knowing Judge Heydrich not only as a judge and fellow member of our legal community, but as a friend, and she was my tennis captain. I can tell you that Judge Heydrich has the same qualities that made her a fierce competitor on the court as she does in the courthouse. Judge Heydrich has served Georgia with distinction at every level of our legal system. She began as a prosecutor in Augusta, an assistant attorney general, a special assistant U.S. attorney, and the chief senior assistant district attorney in Fulton County. Governor Deal appointed her to the DeKalb bench, and Governor Kemp elevated her to the Superior Court. Throughout it all, she has been widely recognized for her leadership, her mentorship, and her service to the legal community. As one of only 3 Jewish Superior Court judges in the entire state, Stacey has also been a courageous leader in the Jewish community, and that it is that very commitment that calls her to the next chapter. She is leaving the bench to serve as the Director of Anti-Semitism Response Network at the Jewish Federation of Greater Atlanta. Mr. Speaker, I ask that this body join me in commending Judge Stacey Heydrich, please rise, for her outstanding service to the judiciary and the citizens of this state, and in extending our sincere appreciation and best wishes for her continued success.
So members, if you'll join me again and standing, we'll pay our respects to another American that we've lost that has had a tremendous impact on our country. And so I recognize Representative Carter, Representative Al Williams, and friends will join as we have a morning order to offer condolences. Representative Doreen Carter, if you'll pause just for a moment. Members, this will speak to the death of Reverend Jesse Jackson, if you want to join up front. Let's offer condolences. The lady is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and esteemed colleagues. Today I rise to honor the Reverend Jesse Louis Jackson Sr., a towering figure in the American Civil Rights Movement and a steadfast voice for justice. From his early work alongside Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., founding Operation PUSH and the Rainbow Coalition, Reverend Jackson dedicated his life to expanding opportunity, giving voice to the marginalized. He reminded our nation that civil rights and economic justice go hand in hand, and he inspired generations with 3 powerful words: keep hope alive. His presidential campaigns broadened participation in our democracy, empowering communities who had long felt unseen and unheard. In moments of national and global tension, he served as a bridge builder, guided by faith, courage, and an unshakable belief in human dignity. Here in Georgia, a state deeply rooted in civil rights history, we understand the significance of leaders who challenge America to live up to its promise. Reverend Jesse Jackson's life stands as a testament of more courage and enduring hope. May we honor his legacy not only in words, but with our work. And I'll pause for Representative Al Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank each of you. I met this towering figure when the world did not know him. In the middle 60s, he came to be trained at Dorchester, 1 mile from my home. Established a relationship with him, kept in touch through the years, and a couple of years ago, Representative Billy Mitchell and I had the opportunity to go in the back room of the Democratic National Convention and meet with him. He'd lost his voice, but the twinkle in his eye and that fantastic smile was still present. He kept hope alive. He gave voice to the voiceless. And I told some television stations this morning out front that one thing he did not lack was ego. But I have never met a politician that has been successful that did not have ego. So it was all for good. A real trailblazer, a real fighter, whom we're going to miss. And Representative Edna Jackson worked for him in his '84 campaign, and the plane that he used was supplied by a Savannah, Benny Pelote, to travel all over this country. So we have deep history with this giant. But he goes home now. He folds up his baggage from South Carolina and North Carolina and goes to the land where he can forget all of the serious illness, all of the pain and all of the suffering. Job well done, Jesse Louis Jackson.
I am somebody. Amen. May we take a moment of silence to remember the Reverend Jesse Jackson. Thank you, and may God bless you, and may God bless the Jackson family. We yield the will.
You know where.
Thank you, members. Our condolences to the Jackson family. Chairman Ron Stevens. Give the gentleman your attention, please. Thank you for that morning order, members. Chairman Stevens, give the gentleman, this is important. You need to learn about this. I've learned more and more about this group, so give the gentleman your attention, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Tough to follow that one. Ladies and gentlemen, today we recognize the Georgia School of Orthodontics, and it is their 10th anniversary. The Georgia School of Orthodontics was founded in 2014. Dr. Chris Lazara and Dr. Gasper Lazara is here today along with others, and the former Representative Lester Jackson brought him up here to see us. They've donated over $100,000 in this short period of time to folks that would not necessarily be able to get orthodontic care. I believe they were in the Senate. I'm sorry, they are here. There's the senator and the group. Would you give these guys, recognize them, and give them an applause, please? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I think that's appropriate to follow because Reverend Jesse Jackson cared about his neighbor, and so do our friends that care about orthodontics and making our people's lives better. And let's recognize with a salute to a former member of this House, Dr. Lester Jackson. Representative Lester Jackson, good to see you, my friend. Let's welcome Lester Jackson back to the People's House. This is where he got his start. Chairman Hatchett is recognized for a morning order. I have some things in the budget, so you can take as long as you want to there.
I didn't see those. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, got a group here today, some young future leaders with the Citizens Bank Youth Advisory Council. They drove up this morning. They're learning about the Capitol and seeing how productive we are. Let's welcome them. Stand and be recognized. Thank you.
Welcome to the People's House. Good to have y'all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Al and Representative Tran. Representative Hong.
Good morning,
And
colleagues. On
ladies
behalf
recognized.
of Georgia's Legislative Asian American Pacific Islander Caucus, I would like to wish everyone a happy Lunar New Year today. I hope everyone stayed up late to watch the ball drop. Just kidding. We don't do that. You'll notice on your desk there are red envelopes. There is a gold coin in there. Don't worry, it's just chocolate. All ethics are being abided, but please save this for the lion dance, which is going to start at noon. Yes, I know what time it is, because you feed it to the lion. So I see a lot of people throwing this away after they eat the chocolate, but save it. It's good luck. I also want, yes, it's Year of the Horse, in case you're wondering. That's why there's a horse on the red envelope. I also want to specifically acknowledge someone who's in the chamber with us today, Mr. Richard Lee, who's the Vice President of the Chinese Business Association of Atlanta. Richard, if you could stand up. CBAA has been a steadfast sponsor of our Lunar New Year celebration for many years now. Thank you so much, and welcome to the People's House.
Mr. Lee, good to have you. Year of the Horse. Awesome. That means it's going to go by fast, right? Or something like that. Maybe not. Leader F-stration. All right. Give the gentleman your attention. We have guests in the gallery he's going to introduce and give us a rundown on what's so important about what they do. Leader F-stration.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm so excited because today we have Georgia's Speech Language Hearing Association here celebrating its annual day of advocacy at the state capitol. The Georgia Speech Language Hearing Association, which is also known as GSHA, is a professional association comprised of individuals specializing in the prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of communication, swallowing, and hearing disorders. These licensed speech language pathologists and audiologists work with Georgians, both young and old, in a variety of settings, including hospitals, physician practices, clinics, nursing homes, veterans facilities, and schools. If anyone here in the gallery from GSHA could stand, and if members of the House, if we could please acknowledge them. Thank you for being here at the state capitol and for what you do. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Representative Darlene Taylor is recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today we have some special guests with us from the city of Thomasville, the Rose City and the jewel of Southwest Georgia, known for our past history as a winter resort of the South and a commerce center for rural Georgia. We've been designated as a Main Street community, and we're honored as Georgia's first great American Main Street city and Georgia's Downtown of the Year in 2023. Please welcome Mayor Scott Chastain, Council Members Terry Scott, Todd Mobley, City Manager Chris White, Assistant City Manager Cheryl Seeley, and our Financial Officer Ashley Kaysen. Let's help them celebrate their 200th anniversary as a city. Thank you. Please give them a hand.
Chair Lady Hagan, Representative Glaze, and others. Come talk about some working women here. All right. Working women, come join Chair Lady down front.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Let the ladies clear the aisle a little bit so the ladies can get by you there. I'll need to have that committee meeting someplace else. Lady will suspend just for a moment. We're almost ready, not quite. The lady's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I didn't know we'd have such a crowd up here this morning, but that just goes to show you how hard we are working here in the chamber. I would like to welcome a group, 9 to 5 Georgia, and their state director, Jasmine Bowles, here today. And we want to take the occasion of them joining us here in the chamber to recognize Georgia's women who work in any role at any phase of their life for their contributions toward building strong families and supporting Georgia's economy. Thank you for being here today, and thank you to all the women in this room who work so hard. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chairman Hilton, recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As you know, House District 48 has some of the brightest minds and best schools in the state. And today we are joined by Atlanta Academy, a multiple national Blue Ribbon award-winning school. Their students have been waiting patiently up there. And if you'd stand and we recognize emerging leaders, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students from Atlanta Academy. Members, give them a big round of applause. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Okay, we're going on to the Henry County delegation. Representative Holly, you can bring all our Henry County folks. Henry County delegation, if you'll join Representative Holly. Gentlemen, spin just for a moment. Henry County delegation, if you represent part of our great county just down I-75 from here, we'd love to have you join Representative Holly.
Okay, good. All right.
I think you're in a good place there. Representative Holly is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, everyone, for being able to recognize what is the mother of all counties, from which several of Atlanta's metropolitan counties were derived. We are glad to have with us today our good people from our nearly 204-year-old county, that is Henry, who are joining us today, not only members of the Chamber of Commerce, but also we have Henry County government, including our boards of commissioners led by the phenomenal Chair Lady Carlotta Harrell. If you're in the gallery, if you'll stand. They're there, all right. Oh, I see, all right. And for those who believe in Henry County's future, we would like to say thank you to Governor Kemp for not only will you now see Henry County as remembering it from the former days on I-75, but please refer to Henry County as the $1.8 billion county. All right, infrastructure improvements are coming on I-75 thanks to our governor and thanks to you. If you like free roads that are not confined to traffic, please rise and give Henry County a nice big clap. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You the will.
A lot of good things going on in Henry County. Thanks for spending your time here with us this morning. Thank you. Good luck to you. Hey, that's a pretty good project, too. Yes, no doubt. Representative Martinez, give the gentleman your attention, please, and some friends. Representative Santos is going to join him. Okoye, all kind of folks. This is pretty special, so we have a nice group down at Depot this morning. We joined Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, so Representative Martinez is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, we were greeted by the Georgia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. 1.1 million Latinos, Hispanics reside in our great state, contributing $52 billion to our economy, Mr. Speaker and colleagues. And I want to thank him for being here. And thank you, Mr. Speaker, for being there this morning.
Gracias a todos los negocios latinos y gracias por ser una parte grande del estado de Georgia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Representative Gaines, Houston Gaines is recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to recognize there's a group of women from Athens that are here up in the gallery, the Athens Roadrunners. I know some of them went over to the Senate, but we have about 40 women from Athens who are community leaders, and so I want y'all to stand and be recognized. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you all for being here.
That completes our morning orders. Thank you to all our guests we had in the gallery. We're going to move on to the rules calendar. All right. Believe it or not, we do have a rules calendar. Mr. Clerk, will you read a caption to House Bill 1121, 1121?
House Bill 1121 by Representative Williams, the 148th, and others be entitled an act to amend Code Section 1563 of the Official Code of Georgia and annotated relating the terms of Superior Court so as to change certain terms of court in the Cordial Judicial Circuit. This bill having referred to the Committee on Judiciary, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chairman Noel Williams is recognized to present House Bill 1121. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, this is a bill that all the federal judges in my area, Superior Court judges, signed off on for the Cordial Judicial Circuit. It encompasses Crisp County, Dooley County, Wilcox County, and Ben Hill County. And all it does is it changes the court dates to January 1 and July 1 of each year. And that's all this bill does, and I would appreciate your approval of this measure.
Gentleman has no questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the will.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Is there an objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, all members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of House Bill 1121, the yeas are 164, the nays are 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. We're going to move off of the rules calendar for 1 second. I know how it is to drive a long ways to come to Atlanta, so I'm going to recognize Chairman Werkheiser for a brief announcement.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for doing that. Tattnall County was brought by our school superintendent, Kristen Waters, and she has brought all of our teachers of the year, and along with our page chairman and neighbor, Mary Ruth Oliver. So y'all stand and let us welcome y'all to the People's House. And thank you, Mr. Speaker, for letting me do that.
That's Georgia's future right there, Teachers of the Year. Thank you for what you do. We most appreciate everything, the efforts you make, and thanks for coming to Atlanta to be with us in the People's House. Thank you very much. Back on the rules calendar, we're going to move on to House Bill 662. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption of House Bill 662?
House Bill 662 by Representative Osteen in the 169th to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 31.8.9.1 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to eligibility to receive tax credits so as to revise the definition of rural hospital organization. This bill I referred to the Committee on Health. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Education, now health care. Representative Osteen is recognized to present House Bill 662. Ladies recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. About a year and a half ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, maybe 2 years ago, I decided to run for this race after I was strongly encouraged by Representative Clay Perkle, who you all worked with. And I went to several ribbon cuttings. I had been going to several ribbon cuttings, but our mayor said something in Coffee County that stuck with me. He said when industries are looking to come into communities, they're looking for four major things. They're looking for the roads. What kind of roads do you have to transport things in and out? The workforce. They're looking for your education system, and they're looking for hospitals. This picture that you see that's thrown up on the screen is Telfair Hospital, and it closed several years ago. And when it closed, the industries went away too. So this bill actually helps rural hospitals, and it is amending the definition of rural hospital organization to include rural freestanding emergency department. This organization must have its primary campus in a rural county and be licensed to provide maternal newborn services or have at least 5% of its annual net revenue categorized as indigent care, charity care, or bad debt. I'll stand for any questions, Mr. Speaker.
Lady has no questions.
Great. I yield the well.
Ladies yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? Hearing none, the committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 662. The yeas are 164, the nays are 0. This bill, having received a requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to House Bill 256?
House Bill 256 by Representative Wiedauer, the 121st, Gullet of the 19th, to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 5 of Title 49 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to programs and protections for children so as to revise provisions relating to foster parents, bills of right. This bill I referred to the Committee of Judiciary and Juvenile. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chairman Gullett is recognized to present the bill. Chairman Joseph Gullett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 256 updates the Georgia's Foster Parent Bill of Rights to reflect how foster parents and foster care is actually delivered today. Since the original bill was enacted in the early 2000s, placements now routinely include de facto foster parents, private agency foster parents, relative caregivers, and fictive kin. This bill ensures that all caregivers providing day-to-day care to children in state custody are treated consistently and fairly. The bill focuses exclusively on the relationship between foster caregivers and DFACs. It does not create new rights in juvenile court, does not alter custody or judicial authority, and does not mandate new services or expenditures. What it does is it clarifies and updates existing rights related to communication, training, participation in case planning, normalcy for children, and procedural fairness. It reinforces the reasonable and prudent parent standard, provides explicit protection against retaliation, and creates a clear administrative grievance process. This bill also establishes a certified volunteer advocate program overseen by the Office of Child Advocate to support foster parents during administrative investigations or disputes. This advocate is not legal counsel but does not interfere with child custody decisions. Ultimately, this is about stability and retention. We know that 30 to 50% of foster parents leave the system each year, often citing a lack of support, clarity, or fair process. By improving transparency and consistency, this bill helps retain experienced caregivers and improves outcomes for children, which I think everyone in this body wants to do. And I urge your favorable consideration. Mr. Speaker, I'll take any questions.
Gentlemen, yield to Representative Carmen Rice to your left, extreme left. Look further. Yes. Ladies recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
Is it not true that House Bill 256 helps foster families and kinship caregivers keep children safer by ensuring they get timely, practical information they need to meet the child's needs?
Yeah, 100%. And as a foster parent myself, I know how important that is, how timely it is to get key information, to not make decisions just for you and your family, but for the foster kid, most importantly. So, thank you.
Gentlemen, you for one more question. Representative Moore to your left, kind of towards your back. Ladies recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
Is it not true that I am a premier foster parent and have been for the past 25 years, and that any bill that will help keep our children here in the state of Georgia, more than 3,500 of them, safe, is a great bill?
Thank you for that. I agree with you, and thank you for being a foster parent. It's a tough thing to do. 25 years is a lot longer than I've done it. I can't imagine the things you've done and seen, so thank you for that, and thank you for the children that you touched.
Chairlady Lynn Smith up the center aisle is recognized for a question, if you'll take it.
Gentleman yield.
Absolutely.
For once in our lives, we see someone who lives what he speaks, and you are a foster parent, you and your wife. I commend you for that, and I commend you also for bringing this forward to the Georgia citizens. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate your kindness and going through that with me as we were going through that process.
Gentleman has no further questions.
I urge your favorable consideration. I yield you well.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee's substitute? Hearing none, the committee's substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of House Bill 256, the yeas are 164, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to House Bill 1063, 1063?
House Bill 1063 by Representative Thomas, the 21st, and others, being entitled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 3, Title 46 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to generation and distribution of electricity generally, so as to require electric utilities to protect residential and retail electricity customers. This bill having referred to the committee To the Special Committee on Resource Management, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chairman Brad Thomas is recognized to speak to House Bill 1063. Thank you, sir. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I bring you House Bill 1063, a bill with a genuine purpose. Make sure Georgia families and small businesses never foot the bill for data center construction and operations. Georgia is experiencing unprecedented demand for our energy for data centers. That growth can be really good for our state, but only if it's managed responsibly. The Public Service Commission has already put strong cost allocation rules in place. What this bill does is take those protections and put them into statute so they can't be weakened, reinterpreted, or bypassed down the road. Let me walk you through the bill. It starts by defining what we mean by data center, a facility with a peak annual electricity demand of 100 megawatts or greater, the same threshold the PSC uses. Then it lays out 4 contract requirements for electric service for data centers. 1 is minimum billing so data centers cover the costs serving them. 2, flexible contract links to match the scale of these projects. 3, performance and credit provisions to protect ratepayers if data centers default. And termination provisions to protect ratepayers if a contract ends early. Now you notice that this bill intentionally does not define incremental costs in statute, and that's by design. The data center industry is still evolving. If we lock in a rigid definition today, we risk unintended consequences of tomorrow. By leaving the termination with the PSC, we give them the flexibility to adapt as market changes while keeping a protective framework firmly in place. These requirements apply to only new contracts going forward. Existing contracts and agreements are not affected, and the PSC is given clear authority to enforce compliance. Members, this bill is to ensure no family in the state should ever have to choose between keeping their lights on, food on the table, because someone else didn't pay their fair share. This bill makes sure that that does not happen. Data centers will pay their own way, period. Mr. Speaker, I'll take questions.
Gentleman has several questions, and then we have a couple of speakers on the bill as well. Chairman Carpenter, your immediate right down front is recognized for a question.
Oh,
hey. Does the gentleman take a question?
I do take a question.
Is it not true that this bill makes sure that we are protecting ratepayers while making sure to keep Georgia open for economic development opportunities?
Yes, it does, and thank you for that question. I believe our job as at the state level is to make sure every opportunity is available to local government and let them decide what's best for their communities.
Furthermore, I'm glad to see that we're codifying what Dalton Utilities already does in regards to high-demand customers. Thank you for this legislation.
Well, thank you for support.
Representative Stacey Evans, to your left, is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
I really appreciate the comments, I think 3 times in your remarks, that this bill will make sure that ratepayers don't foot the bill for data centers, right?
That is the goal.
Where in the bill does it do that? Because my concern is while this does say we want data centers and the utilities to enter into these contracts, nothing prohibits the PSC from approving a rate change increase because of an increased need because of data centers. All it does is says if you enter these voluntary contracts, this is what they need, but there's nothing that actually prohibits a rate increase as a result of data center usage. Is there somewhere in the bill where you can point me to that it actually does say that a rate increase is prohibited?
First of all, this isn't a conversation about rate increases and how the PSC goes about that process. That would be, I think, a different piece of legislation. I think this is about capital costs, capital investment costs, and those costs being passed along and ensuring that the contracts, as they're written, ensure that those costs aren't passed along to the consumer. Ultimately, a ratepayer, the cost of the ratepayer, that's a decision that's provided to the PSC, and I think preempting them from doing their natural process would be, I don't see how that's beneficial to anyone in the state.
Will you further yield?
Of course.
Where in here, though, would it prohibit a utility, the PSC, or where in here, where is there anywhere it would prohibit the PSC from approving those capital costs, an increase in rates to cover a capital cost?
Well, I think that's where we get into the defining incremental costs. I think what's important is what I don't want to see is incremental costs can be defined a lot of different ways. And what I don't want to see happen is that we miss opportunities where the PSC should have or could have had the opportunity to add some incremental costs under these contracts. That would be missed. And I think, again, it kind of boils back down to, and maybe we're kind of talking past each other here a little bit. I'm saying this is specific to capital costs and costs associated with construction of data centers. And I think what you're trying to talk about is concerns about ratepayer costs and anything that, as they do, that go through that whole process. So I'm not sure.
Will you yield for a final question?
If it's a final one.
Well, it's my intention that I be the final one. Isn't it true that I appreciate the bill? I appreciate the stated aim at making sure that ratepayers don't foot the bill for data centers, but isn't it further true that I'm very concerned that this bill doesn't do that, and based on what you just said, it doesn't do that, and that there's a lot more that we can do, and I hope we come back and do it.
Well, so I would somewhat disagree with you on that. I do feel like it's really a good foundational step to make sure that we're taking care of the small businesses and our residential ratepayers. I do believe it does do that. That's the beauty of legislation, as there's always opportunities to take future looks at things, and I'd be more than happy to talk with you about that going forward.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Representative Buckner to your left is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Sure.
It is a noble aim of the bill to make sure that the residential ratepayers don't pick up the cost of the data center. So I do appreciate that. I do have some of the same concerns that were just alluded to in the former conversation. The other thing that bothers me or that I'm concerned about is when will communities know about the anticipated need of electrical power in the planning process? When are they going to be alerted that they're going to want X number of megawatts? When in that process will communities know so that they can plan and have control over their own destiny?
Thank you. My answer to that is that's, I think, more of a planning process piece of legislation, which is a conversation I know that you've kind of been trying to spearhead yourself. I know you and I've sat in several meetings where we've kind of talked about that. That's not what we're trying to do here. I think, again, I guess when I've always operated my business, I've always gone after the lowest hanging fruit first. And I think this is a very obvious low-hanging piece of fruit that really does provide the protections that are important to the ratepayer and the small business owners here in the state. The one thing that I would tell you, we went across this whole state, and there was one thing that was heard over and over and over again, no matter where you were at, and that was the concern that these costs would be forwarded along to residential ratepayers and small businesses. So this is our way to address that. I think you've done good legislation when you have people on each side saying it either goes too far or it doesn't go far enough, which is the feedback I've got here. So I feel like we've got something that's pretty good. Actually, I feel that's very good. Again, we'll continue to work through the legislative process and be happy to continue the conversations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Buckner.
Chairman Deloach to your right, extreme right, is recognized for a question.
Does the gentleman yield?
It's been a while. Yes, sir, but I'll do it for you.
This is going to be pretty easy.
Okay.
Isn't it true that my friends in McIntosh County would like to make it clear that they would welcome a data center in McIntosh County?
I would think. I think my friend knows of what he speaks.
A blatant advertisement, I think they call that. Representative Sanchez to your right is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would say I'm probably to the left of the gentleman, but thank you. Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
Okay, wasn't sure, but thank you for this bill. Quick question. So I know we had special elections last year, and isn't it true that there was an overwhelming showing that the voters do want major change on this issue?
I'm not here to interpret what election results mean. There was an election, and whoever elected was represented by the people, elected by the people they represent. So.
Right. Well, if you will further yield,
of course.
Well, I think it's great that we're talking about data centers, so I really appreciate you bringing this topic up because I think it's very important, and the voters are very much talking about it. Would you agree then that while this is a first step, that there is more to be done to match the will of the voters and protect Georgians?
Well, yeah, I think that's a good point, and that was kind of what led to part of my speech when I discussed specifically that this is an evolving industry. So there's always, like just about any other legislation we look at, there's always opportunities for improvements or changes as things continue on. So yeah, thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Gentleman has one more question, maybe two, depends on how many he takes. Representative Reese, to your left, has been patiently waiting.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
Mr. Chairman, isn't it true that all summer we transverse the state of Georgia, visiting different facilities and having meetings, talking with community leaders and going to data centers so that we could study and understand the impact that data centers are going to have on the state of Georgia?
I'm going to go a little bit beyond just that, Representative Reese. I want to tell you how much I appreciate you and how much that you contributed and the wonderful questions and insightful questions that you asked during that process. I think you were a valuable member of the committee. And I know I'm being so nice, right? That's okay. I said it in the well. I like you. You're okay with me. So we're good.
Back to business, Mr. Chairman.
All right, move on from that part.
All right.
See,
Go and hug it out after
this
this is
until
over
you
with.
said that. Now all my friends are going away. Isn't it further true that this bill will start the process of us as legislators making sure that residents of our state are protected as data centers come into our state, and that we aren't victims like what we see happening in other states outside of Georgia? And unfortunately, a lot of what the people hear in our community today about data centers come from those outside of our state. And we are holding them true to what they say they're going to do right here in our state, including the power companies, and not passing along any costs to any consumers as it relates to data centers.
I think my friend knows of what he speaks.
Gentleman has no further questions. I think that's why y'all were on the special committee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With that, I'll yield the well and ask for everyone's favorable consideration.
Gentleman has yielded the well. We have a couple of speakers speak. I guess are you opposed or in favor? We'll still hear from you, whichever way you are on this one. So, Representative Rahman is recognized. Give the lady your attention, please. We'll decide after you speak, right?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I actually rise today for every Georgian around the state who has spent countless hours imploring their city, county, and state-level officials to stop data centers in their community. They attended town hall meetings, came to our special committee hearings, and did countless outreach to us. And for those Georgians, it is an exaggeration to even call this a first step. It adds no additional protections for consumers and no cost-cutting mechanisms. All this does is codify rules that are already in place. We have no way to know if we're building far too many gas power plants, as an example, because we don't have access to the data in the rules that the PSC approved last year. As a reminder, the approval happened before the new PSC members even took their seats, completely ignoring the overwhelming message that voters gave us last year. And what does this bill do to address that and other problems? Does it provide liability to the data center company for asking for too much? No. Does it clean out the sediment and restore water pressure in Mansfield, Georgia? No. Does it prevent building data centers outside the homes of people in Noonan? No. Does it limit how much water a data center uses? No. Does it protect our beautiful landscape before permanently scarring it forever? No. After almost a year of studying this issue, is this really the best that we can do for Georgians on something that has bipartisan opposition and concerns? Is this truly the best we have to offer? I argue the answer is no. I want every Georgian to know that they deserve better than this, especially over a year of them actively reaching out to us. I do not believe this bill meets their needs. Now, to answer the question, Yes, of course I will be voting yes for this bill, but I want every Georgian to know that this bill will not help with the concerns they brought for us. It simply codifies the status quo. Do not let this slow your work, do not let this impact your outreach, and do not let us forget what this is doing to your health and your pocketbooks. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the will.
I'm still a little confused where you are on that bill, but I guess I'll see how you vote, and then I'll make up my mind. The ladies yielded the well. Chairman Parsons is recognized to speak to House Bill 1063.
Thank you, Speaker. Well, I rise to support this legislation, and I want to say how much I appreciate Chairman Thomas for the work he's done on it over the summer and on the fall. I can't think of anybody that would have done a better job, and also the members of that committee. I was a member of it. I'm not going to pat myself on the back, but the members of the committee did a great job asking questions. He did a fantastic job trying to get the answers he was looking for. I've been involved to some extent with data centers for a long time. I guess it was about 15 years ago, it seems like. I lose track of time, but somebody came to me, a lobbying organization actually came to me and asked me to put in a bill that would provide tax credits for data centers to come to the state. And the basic argument was that they were going to Virginia and we were losing out on a great business opportunity, and I put the bill in. I really didn't know. I put the bill in. I didn't proceed with it, but I really didn't know much more than that that Virginia was getting them, and it looks like something we should get. And my idea of a data center was much different than what they are today. With Southern Bell and Bell South, I dealt with data processing businesses a lot, and which is not exactly the same thing a data center does. They're much more complex than that. But those businesses we have up in the Chamblee, Dunwoody area, where most of them were located in buildings about half the size of this chamber, nothing like data centers today. I didn't proceed with the bill, but that doesn't mean I didn't support the idea. It was just I didn't have enough information at that time to really do anything else with it. This bill today came up in Chairman Thomas's committee. I had some questions about it. I kind of thought it might. I wasn't sure exactly what he would have. We hadn't talked a lot about it. So that night, like happens to me a lot of times, and in fact it happened to me last night about something entirely different, but I wake up about 2 o'clock in the morning with something on my mind, and that night after we had the discussion in the committee, I had data centers on my mind. I couldn't get them off. And I kept thinking about what, as I lay there, kept thinking about what we might do. What could we do? You know, people say we should do more, that bill should do more. I kept thinking, what could we do more? Thought about it for a long time. I knew I had to get up at 5:30 in the morning. I had to get to sleep. I finally told myself, okay, you've got these ideas, and usually when you get these ideas in the middle of the night, the next day you can't remember anything that you were thinking about. So I sent myself a text or an email, and I came up with some things on here. Most of them are ridiculous. I mean, at least they're readable. A lot of times I get things that I send myself in the middle of the night, I can't even read it. But my point is that I want to make is that after a lot of loss of sleep and a lot of thought, I believe that this bill does exactly what we need to do at this time, and I totally support it. There are a couple of things I would say. One of the things I had jotted down here in my email, what do data centers provide for Georgians versus what they take and burden us with? That was the language I put in the email. And the fact of the matter is they do provide a lot. I mean, you all know what they provide in property taxes for the people in the counties that they come to, the local government. The construction of those things, they are immense. A tremendous amount of construction, a tremendous amount of money that comes through the construction of data centers. They're not built overnight. There's a lot of people employed. Once the building is constructed, once the infrastructure is put in, the plumbing, electricity, and things like that, then there have to be people hired to put in the racks. I mean, these things are just filled with racks that different components and different cards go into. A tremendous amount of people are hired to do that, to actually put in the infrastructure inside the building itself that the data equipment is going to go into. Then the people that come in, more skilled at the data part than the people that put in the racks and the wiring, the cabling in the buildings, a lot of that, that put in the cards and the programming and things of that nature. Even after that's gone, and this is what I had questions about in a lot of conferences I went to over the summer, what happens then? Is there anybody still that remains at the data center? Or they just all leave? Is there any money that still comes into the state? The answer is yes, because once the data center is up and running, there's a constant number of people coming into the data center to change out cards, to upgrade the equipment. It's a constant traffic of people coming in that have to do the work there. It's not something you just put in and it stands there and then you leave it and let it work. It's not. There's a lot of people that work there after it's gone. One more thing on my little list of things that I've got on here. Last thing I wrote, this is the middle of the night. Who should really be paying for the build-out of new generation of electricity for data centers? Well, it's a good question. It goes back to the ratepayers or the members of the corporations. But you know what I want people to think about, maybe in this chamber, but also people out there in the World Wide Web internet land, what drives these things? What drives them is us. The constant looking up on Google, looking up on the bots, information. I burn up a data center every day with mine just asking for information, especially with ChatGPT. And as you all know, it can provide everything from analyzing legislation to providing legislation for you. So we're the ones, we and the people out there, we're the ones who are creating the work that these data centers take care of. So with that, Speaker, I'll yield the well. The author did a great job answering questions. I couldn't answer anything that he didn't provide information on, and just say that I fully support his bill, and I hope everybody will vote yes on this bill. With that, Mr. Speaker, I yield the well.
Thank you for your insight, Mr. Chairman. The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? Hearing none, the committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted? If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machine? On the passage of House Bill 1063, the yeas are 159, the nays are 5. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Special committee, thank you for your work. You've got more work to do, but we appreciate your work in bringing the facts to this House so we can make good decisions. Thank you very much.
Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 1022. House Bill 1022.
House Bill 1022 by Representative McDonald of the 26th and others to be entitled an act to amend Title 40 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to motor vehicles and traffic so as to prohibit electric tinting. This bill having referred to the Committee on Motor Vehicles, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Chairman McDonald to present the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and colleagues. Today I bring you House Bill 1022. The purpose of this bill is to ensure that vehicle owners and drivers in Georgia are actually complying with our existing laws on window tinting and license plates. In light of a new and emerging technology, this is becoming a more and more an issue in the state of Georgia. Technology changes every day, and unfortunately, the law has not kept up with its pace. Many of you may not realize this, but today there is something called electric window tint. This technology allows a driver to have their windows tinted far beyond what is allowed under Georgia law. And if they're pulled over by law enforcement, they can simply press a button and the windows instantly become crystal clear. So from the officer's standpoint, what they've observed when initiating the stop is no longer what they see when they approach the vehicle. The same issue now is happening with license plates and tags. This bill defines electric tinting as any material that uses an electronic current to change the light reflectance or light transmission of a surface. This includes, but not limited to, electromagnetic glass and polymeric dispersed liquid crystal film. House Bill 1022 makes it clear, crystal clear, that electronic tinting may not be applied to the front windshield, rear windshield, and side windows or doors beyond what is authorized by Georgia law. No license plates may be covered by electric tinting. No person may display a temporary permanent tag that is not issued by the state of Georgia and is intended to resemble a Georgia license plate, including digital license plates. The bill also authorizes the Department of Public Safety to promulgate rules and regulations as necessary to enforce these provisions. In terms of penalties, a violator is a misdemeanor. For certain violations, the first offense is $500. For second and subsequent offenses, the fine can be up to $1,000. Madam Speaker and members, this bill is fundamentally about officer safety, public safety, accountability, and driver safety. Law enforcement officials must be able to see what's inside a vehicle, clearly read and verify license plates, trust what they observe during a traffic stop, and drivers need to be able to see what's outside their windows as they're operating a motor vehicle. Technology should not be used as a tool to evade law or create unsafe encounters for our officers. HB 1022 simply updates Georgia law to reflect modern technology and closes loopholes that are already being exploited. Madam Speaker, I yield for any questions.
There are no questions.
Madam Speaker, I yield the well.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of the bill. The yeas were 133, the nays were 25. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 956. House Bill 956.
House Bill 956 by Representative Corbett of the 174th to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 12.8, 27.1 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to solid waste trust fund so as to authorize the use of funds for implementation of the provisions of a solid waste management program. This bill has been referred to the Committee on Natural Resources and Environment. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Chairman Corbett to present the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I bring before you House Bill 956, LC 443273. What this bill does, it gives the director of the EPD the flexibility to take actions as may be necessary to implement the provisions of the Solid Waste Management Plan. Little history lesson. The Solid Waste Trust Fund was established in 1990. Primary source of funding was a dollar fee on every new tire sold in the state. In 2023, we passed legislation to take that $1 fee from the retail level to the distributor level. That has resulted in an additional $2 million coming into the state annually. As the funding continues to grow and all program needs are met, it's critical that the EPD has the flexibility to use these funds to expand its work associated with trust fund activities. House Bill 956 does just that. It allows the director of the EPD the flexibility to utilize state appropriated funds to build capacity while ensuring critical solid waste functions are met. For example, a couple months ago, the EPD's emergency response team responded to a tire fire. However, due to the way the law is currently written, the EPD's emergency management response team could not get paid from the Solid Waste Trust Fund. This bill would allow the EPD to pay for that response if needed. It could also help with ensuring solid waste permits are issued in a timely manner. This is what the bill does. Madam Speaker, I will stand for any questions.
There is a question. The chair recognizes Representative Carter for a question.
Thank you. Does the gentleman yield?
To my friend, I do.
Thank you. Please help me understand, is this bill saying that currently the solid waste management plans are permitted by EPD, and with this legislation it would now be managed, the permits will be managed by the Department of Ag?
No, it's the director of the EPD. This is all administered under the directors. It will be implementing all of this legislation with the EPD.
Okay, so you're just trying to move the funds.
Just giving him, no, not moving, just
But
giving
the
him the
permits.
flexibility if so needed. This come about when they couldn't pay for their emergency response team responding to a tire fire.
Mhm.
Also, it helps them make sure that they continue to administer the Solid Waste Trust Fund. A lot of federal funding comes down as well. They can, make up that gap when it's unpredictable when federal funding might come, or it might be, sometime they decrease those funds that's coming down. But it just gives him flexibility to make sure that we continue to meet all the needs of Georgia when it comes to the Solid Waste Trust Fund.
Does the gentleman further yield?
For one more.
My only clarity is as long as the permitting is not changing, because I have concerns the way EPD is approving permits, and I want to make sure that we're not affecting that. You're just saying their ability to be able to provide the services, but I'm more concerned about the permit.
Yeah, that does not
Okay.
change. This can actually assist that to help them get it done in a more timely manner.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, if there are no further questions, I'll ask for your favorable consideration.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Or is any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 159, the nays were 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed.
Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to House Bill 818?
House Bill 818 by Representative Martin of the 49th and others to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 23 of Title 47 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the Georgia Judicial Retirement System, so as to provide for membership in the system for each judge employed full-time in the Georgia Tax Court. This bill having referred to the Committee on Retirement, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chairman Chuck Martin is recognized to present House Bill 818. Chairman Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll be brief and answer questions if there are any, but House Bill 818 seeks to move the position of the judge of the tax court from ERS to the judicial retirement system, JRS. The reason for that, if you all will recall, is in 2024, we actually moved that court from the executive branch to the judicial branch, so this is just simply aligning that position with the proper branch of state government. There won't be a cost to the state, as the money will move with the individual that was recently appointed, as will the liability for their retirement in the ERS system. So all of that will move, and we just need to align that. This goes with the 2024 constitutional amendment that was passed and the enabling legislation. If there are questions, I will answer them, but the hour being late, I would ask the House's favorable consideration on House Bill 818.
Excellent job. You have no questions?
I yield well.
Gentleman's yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. All members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 818? The yeas are 160, the nays are 2. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to House Bill 987?
House Bill 987 by Representative Jones, the 25th and others to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 8 of Title 34 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to employment security so as to provide for portable benefits plans and portable benefit accounts for independent contractors. This bill having referred to the Committee on Industry and Labor, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chairman Todd Jones is recognized to speak to House Bill 987. The gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I bring to you House Bill 987. Today, 1 in 4 Georgians are either 1099 or doing side gigs, or basically side hustles. That number 15 years ago was 1 in 6. We only see that number going up and up and up. I would challenge each of you that if we were coming out of World War II today, we would basically do exactly what this bill is saying and attach the bill and attach effectively the benefits to the individual, not the benefits to the employer who would then give them to the individual. This allows the individual to voluntarily opt into a portable benefit plan and allows them to be able to account for their own health insurance, dental insurance, allows them to take care of their retirement, unemployment, etc. Mr. Speaker, that is the summary of the bill, and I will stand for questions.
The gentleman has no questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I ask for your favorable consideration.
The gentleman's yielded the well. We have a couple of members that are opposed to the bill. I recognize Representative Lisa Campbell to speak to the bill. Give the lady in the well your attention, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, I, along with so many of you, my esteemed colleagues, are interested in advocating for Georgia's working people. We're here every day to ensure Georgia's working families' needs and voices are heard, represented, and as an active member of the Working Families Caucus, I am committed to ensuring our corporate business partners are supported, but also, and equally important, held accountable for fair workers' rights. Unfortunately, this bill sounds good, but it is really nothing more than a small cut in a series of 1,000 fatal cuts designed to exclude app-based ride-hailing and delivery workers from state employment rights and federal rights such as minimum wage, workers' compensation, and unemployment insurance. Our current law does not prohibit companies from offering benefits, portable or otherwise. They can do this today, right now. They do not need this law. So I've asked myself, why is this bill being introduced? Because a no vote on this bill doesn't change this opportunity for businesses to do the right thing. But it does provide one small limit to ensure companies are later not shielded from their own actions, and that we do not unintentionally limit the rights of working Georgians in the future. This bill is brought to us and backed by major companies like rideshare companies and delivery services. And these kinds of portable benefits bills are popping up around the country. It's part of a much larger effort to legitimize business models based on misclassifying employees as independent contractors and avoiding accountability to their workers and to the public. Fundamentally, rideshare and delivery app companies overwhelmingly classify their workforce as independent contractors. Some would say the contractors like this. But they do this because it allows them to deny workers federal protections, as I said, such as minimum wage, overtime pay, health care benefits, Social Security, unemployment insurance, paid sick days, family leave, as well as the right to unionize. These practices are spreading to other sectors like retail and even healthcare services, which have been turning to the gigified app-based employment. I, like many of you, I'm a proponent for change, for innovation in technology, and for new working models. But we do not need to sacrifice workers' rights as we expand into these working models, flexible schedules, and environments. We can do both. This issue is being used to obfuscate who's really an employee and who's a contractor by layering in this portability of benefits as a distraction. What's really going on is that if the gig app started widely offering portable benefits, it could and would likely be used against them as one indicator in a multi-factor formula in a misclassification lawsuit as a clear indication of an employment relationship with workers. So to preempt that, they're seeking a legal shield from the government as part of a much broader campaign, and they're waging to protect their business model at the expense of workers. I think it's time for us to hold lawmakers, us as lawmakers, to keep holding these companies accountable. Instead of savings accounts set up by corporations, app-based workers should receive the same portable benefits that other employees are entitled to. We should bolster these programs by adequately funding them, including requiring app-based corporations to contribute to them, just like all other employers do. In this way, we could truly eliminate barriers to access and increase opportunity for benefits. For all of these reasons, I urge you to vote no on this bill. Let's instead continue to work with the tech app and other innovative companies to offer full and real comprehensive benefits to all of Georgia's hardworking families. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield the well.
The ladies yielded the well. We have one more speaker. Before I recognize him, ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to help me welcome a gentleman that has served our state and our nation very, very well in many capacities. And it's a chancellor of our university system of Georgia, but more importantly, he's a grandfather. He's here today. He was a granddaughter, Eleanor, who's serving as a page. So welcome the chancellor, the former governor of this state, Sonny Perdue. I'd forgotten. He's Big Buddy. So known by all those great grandchildren he has. So, Big Buddy, he and Miss Mary are wonderful grandparents. Thank you, Representative McLean, for indulging me on that point. We're back on to the rules council. Representative Dewey McLean is recognized to speak to the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I do know that the hour is getting late, but, you know, when I come to this well, I try not to talk long and stay long, but I want to say that to my Representative Campbell, you said a lot, and you said it as much as I wanted to say. As I said to the author of this bill, HB 987, it's just not ready. It is not ready. And I'm a true person. I'll say right is right, wrong is wrong. This bill right here, my only biggest concern is, and I'll always tell everybody my concern, is that it's not protecting the W-2 employee. It is not. What you'll wind up having is you'll wind up having a frenzy on 1099 employees instead of employers doing the right thing by giving full benefits to employees. That is the only reason that I'm voting no on this bill, and I'm encouraging all of you all to think about this, that we need to protect the W-2 employees. Those are the ones that we need to protect. I mean, protecting the 1099 employees are great, but getting benefits is one thing. But if you got to participate, we can do this already without this law. This law is not needed. And as my colleague said, this is a protection. And what I'm asking you all to do is let this bill go back, let them work on this bill, and let's make sure that we protect all of the W-2 employees. You know, it doesn't give benefits. The only thing it does is it takes benefits from, and all my concern was, as I told you all earlier, was we're going to wind up with more 1099 employees and less W-2 employees. And that's the same thing I share with the author. So for that reason, Mr. Speaker and colleagues, I am voting no, and I hope that you all would support me, well, not support me, but support W-2 workers and vote no as well.
The gentleman yield for a question.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I will yield for a question.
Representative David Wilkerson to your left in the back is recognized for a question.
Thank you. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, I do.
Feel free to answer this question, but I probably should have asked the author. How are the independent contractors, this compensation they're receiving or this money being put into the account, how is that being taxed? Because as an independent contractor, you basically pay your portion plus the FICA for the employer. So how are they taxing that additional money they're put into the account? And like I said, this may be for the author, not for you.
Thank you for that question, and I will answer the best of my ability. My ability is that as an independent contractor, the way that the author had written this bill is that it's voluntary that you put your money in, but it was not put in pre-tax. So therefore, it wasn't put in pre-tax.
Gentleman, you have one more question.
Yes, I will, Mr. Speaker.
Leader F. Stration, right in front of you to your right, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does my friend yield?
Yes, to you, my leader. Yes, I do.
Gentlemen, Representative, is it not true that if this legislation passed, independent workers who may not otherwise have a way to have health care savings, retirement savings, or investment savings that would traditionally be available, may be available to them in this gig economy as they change from job to job? Is that true?
That is true, and that was the one reason I liked them. Don't get me wrong. We're going in the right direction. I just said the bill was not ready. It just need a little more work because, again, a W-2 employee, he receives all what you just said. He receives health care. He receives savings. He receives vacation. He received those benefits that this gig worker does not. And all I'm saying is that this bill just needs a little bit more work, and that's the only reason I'm voting no.
And I certainly understand your perspective. Do you yield for one more
Yes,
question?
I do.
I guess, would you say that it is an effort, that the effort here in bringing this legislation is to support workers in this modern economy who may desire to save for healthcare purposes, for retirement, other purposes, and don't have a means otherwise to do it due to the nature of their work? Would you agree?
I would, again, Leader, I've already said I like the bill. I mean, I'm only voting no because I don't think the bill is ready. If I could just, if we could make sure that there were some guarantees that the full-time employees that receive W-2s, that receive all what you just said, can continue to receive. What I don't want is to be a frenzy on W-2 employees and open up the door for a whole lot of 1099 employees.
Understood. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield the well.
Gentleman has yielded the well. He did open up a couple of questions. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of House Bill 987, the yeas are 109, the nays are 53. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. For what purpose, ladies and gentlemen, that completes our rules calendar. Thank you for your attention. For what purpose does Representative McDonald rise?
Mr. Speaker, I rise to suspend the rules.
You like to make a motion?
Motion, yes. Just one.
Make your motion.
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules so a bill can be read for the first time and assigned to committee.
That's temporarily, correct?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption?
Unnumbered House Bill by Representative McDonald, the 26 and others to be entitled an act to amend Part 1 of Article 6, Chapter 6, entitled 32, the official code of Georgia annotated relating to regulation of maintenance and use of public road relative to public utilities.
On the gentleman's motion that the rules of the House be temporarily suspended so a bill can be read for the first time and assigned to committee, is there objection? Transportation. For what purpose does Representative Barrett rise?
To make a motion.
State your motion, sir.
I move that the rules be temporarily suspended so that the bill may be read for the first time and assigned to committee.
Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption?
Unnumbered House Bill by Representative Barrett of the 24th and others to be entitled an act to amend Titles 15 and 19 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to the courts and domestic relations, respectively, so as to revise the definition of legal father.
On the gentleman's motion that the rules of this House be temporarily suspended so a bill can be read for the first time and assigned to committee, is there objection? Judiciary. For what purpose does Representative Reeves now rise?
Make a motion.
State your motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the rules be temporarily suspended so that a bill may be read for the first time and assigned to committee.
Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption?
Unnumbered House Bill by Representative Reeves and the 99th and others to be entitled an act to amend Titles 33 and 40 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to insurance and motor vehicles and traffic, respectively.
On the gentleman's motion that the rules of this House be temporarily suspended so a bill can be read for the first time and assigned to committee, is there objection? Insurance. We do have a number of afternoon orders. Members, I'm going to ask if you will do your dead level best, or I'll help you, and limit yourselves to 1 minute 1 minute. Representative Rahman. Representative Denya, you're on deck. And then Representative Carpenter. You have someone who's going to join you?
Yes, sir, please. Thank you.
Couple?
Just, yeah.
Okay, come on, Representative Ali. That is, if you can do it in a minute, I will.
Yes, sir.
Representative Ruel Rahman is recognized for an afternoon order.
Thank you. Good afternoon, colleagues. I rise today to recognize the beginning of Ramadan. It's actually unclear if it's going to be tonight or tomorrow because it's based on the sighting of the moon. And so we haven't really gotten exactly when, but for your Muslim constituents, they're going to be engaging in increased acts of worship. They'll be at the mosque a lot more. They'll be giving to charity a lot more. They'll also be abstaining from food and drink from sunrise to sunset. So we are here today to share that with you. Please wish your constituents a Ramadan Mubarak, and we will be having goodie bags and other fun things starting tomorrow. But if you have any questions, feel free to come out and talk to us and your constituents. But thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative, how about water? Can we drink water?
Not even water, y'all. It is the age-old saying. It is a long-lasting question that many have. No, not even water. Thanks, Mr. Speaker.
Better hydrate before you start. Ladies, Representative Adenya, where? I don't see him. Let's see. Representative Carpenter. Gentleman is recognized for an afternoon order.
I rarely do this, but I want to give a big shout out to Georgia Tech. They had a group go to Washington last week for the Model NATO conference in Washington, and they ended up first place out of 5 countries. And my chief of staff, Bannon Phelan, was number 1 in his committee. So congratulations, guys. Appreciate all you do, and look forward to watching you guys do successful careers. Thanks.
Go Tech. All right. Representative Ali. Representative Ali. Do we have his photo ready to put up? Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of this House, on the screen is a boy named Nathan. Nathan was born in 2014 and is a very caring, very sweet, and very sociable kid. He's looking for a family to adopt him so that he can enjoy watching his favorite movies with, to play baseball with, and to become a part of a family with. It's myturnnow.dhs.georgia.gov is where we can make that possible. And with that, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, members of this House.
Thank you. As usual, great afternoon order. Representative Alexander and friends. Friend. Ladies recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Douglas County delegation would like to congratulate Elena Myers-Taylor, bobsled Olympian, WSF past president and Wilma Rudolph Courage Award winner, 4-time Olympian, 2010, 2014, 2018, 2022, 5-time Olympic medalist, 9-time World Championship medalist, 4 times USABS Women's Bobsled Athlete of the Year, most decorated Black athlete in the Winter Olympians. Now she has earned her first Olympiad gold medal in bobsled. And congratulations, Elena Myers-Taylor. Thank you.
Representative Moore. Ladies recognized for an afternoon order. Representative Moore, give the lady your attention, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's not every day that we even remember our postal man. But today, I'd like for us to take a moment to remember 31-year-old United Postal worker DeQuavius Graves. He was a postal worker in my district, in my neighborhood to be exact. He was shot and killed by an unknown assailant while he was delivering our mail last week. It's terrible to know that we're on our job, doing work for the greater good, for the greater masses, and someone comes and kills us in the interim. So I wanted to take a moment to remember him and remind everyone who can hear me, see me, or that knows about it, that there's a $250,000 reward for Mr. Graves' capture of his assailant. If you all know of anything, please contact the postal master in your area or your state. Thank you. If you take a moment, please, to remember DeQuarius Graves. Thank you.
Condolences to the family. Thank you for that. Hope we'll solve that one soon. Representative Derek Jackson, recognized for an afternoon order. And friends. Gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know the Reverend Dr. Jesse Jackson was already acknowledged, but growing up for many, many decades, it was rumored that he was part of our family. And in 1983, when I joined the Navy and had the opportunity to be stationed in Chicago in 1984, had the opportunity to meet him. And so just growing up, acknowledging that not just because he was a Jackson, but that he was part of our family. And we received the text early this morning, like 4:30 this morning, that he had transitioned. And so it was already acknowledged by Representative Williams and others, but it's something when you actually know someone transition. And so thank you, for, Mr. Speaker, for giving us the opportunity to remember this giant of a husband, of a grandfather, of an uncle, and a cousin. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Jackson. Certainly always hard to lose any of your family members. That completes our afternoon orders. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions?
Honoring the life and memory of Edwin Marion Self, Jr. Commending the efforts of the Greater Macon Chamber of Commerce for its significant contributions to economic prosperity, recognizing and commending Patricia Lohman upon her retirement. Recognizing and commending the Atlanta chapter of the National Black MBA Association, recognizing and commending James Underwood for his superlative service to the Georgia Society of Certified Public Accountants, recognizing February 20th, 2026 as Donor Day at the state capitol, recognizing and commending the Juniors Running Club of Norcross, recognizing February 18, 2026 as Statesboro of Bullock County Day at the state capitol, recognizing and commending New Birth Missionary Baptist Church, recognizing March 18, 2026 as Georgia Runs on Trucking Day, recognizing the Association of Georgia General Aviation Airports as an industry association for general aviation airports in the state of Georgia, congratulating the Pierce County High School boys tennis team for winning the 2025 GHSA Class AA State Tennis Championship, recognizing and commending Haygood Memorial United Methodist Church on the occasion of its 100th anniversary, commending Clayton State University and recognizing March 4th, 2026 as Clayton State University Day at the state capitol, recognizing Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, Inc. for its longstanding service and contributions to the communities of Douglas, Paulding, and Carroll counties, recognizing and commending the Atlanta Community Food Bank for its partnership efforts in Douglas County and its continued commitment to combating food insecurity through the state of Georgia. Recognizing the statewide day of service of March 18th, 2026, and for other purposes, that completes the reading of the privilege resolutions.
Is there any objection to adopting the privilege resolutions? Hearing none, the resolutions are adopted. We're ready for announcements now, so members, when you make your announcement, we'll go ahead and throw this out there. We're going to push back all committee meetings this afternoon 1 hour. 1 hour, so make that work into your announcement. Representative Carter. Representative Doreen Carter is recognized for an announcement. Representative Tran, you're on deck. Ladies recognized.
Thank you. This announcement is twofold. If you are a member of the Georgia Legislative Black Caucus and you have not registered for the gala, we would like for you to register today. We need all Georgia Legislative Black Caucus members to register for the gala. Those of you who are not members of the Georgia Legislative Black Caucus, for over 50 years, the caucus has had their annual dinner that now we call a gala. So on Friday, February the 27th, we will host the Heritage Gala at the Georgia Aquarium. If you would like to attend the gala, you can go to gablackcaucus.org and you can either purchase a sponsorship or a ticket. Join us for this fabulous event. Thank you.
Representative Tran, recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The AAPI caucus is hosting lunch in honor of Lunar New Year today, so room 216. Upon adjournment, act like the horse, swiftly and boldly. Lunch in 216. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chairman Parsons recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Speaker. The Energy, Utilities, and Telecommunications Committee, otherwise known as EUT, has a meeting this afternoon in 403 of the Capitol. It has been scheduled for 3 o'clock. It's my understanding from the Speaker's announcement. They've all been pushed back an hour, so the meeting will be at 4 o'clock. 403 here in the Capitol, EUT meeting. Thank you, Speaker.
4 p.m. Chairman Powell, recognized for an announcement.
Regulated Industries Committee will put back to an hour at 2 o'clock. Please make all attempt to be there. Room CLOB 515.
Chairman Tarvin, recognized for an announcement. Chairman Tarvin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Budget and Fiscal Affairs Oversight will be moved till 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. today. CLOB 606, have 2 bills to hear.
2 o'clock. Chairman Yerda, recognized for announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Appropriations General Government will meet today at 3 o'clock, room 515, CLOB. Thank you.
Chairman Thomas. Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Government Affairs Subcommittee on State and Local Government will be meeting at 4:15. We will push back 1 hour to 3 o'clock. That's 3 o'clock, 4:15. Thank you.
3 o'clock, 4:15. Representative Bazemore. Representative Bazemore recognized for an announcement. Ladies recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The City of South Fulton delegation will be meeting in a few minutes over in CLOB room 510. Thank you.
Chairman Williamson, Chairman Williamson is recognized for announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Speaker, there'll be a majority caucus lunch in room 403 immediately upon adjournment. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Joe Campbell, gentleman is recognized for announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to announce we got an Agricultural and Consumer Affairs meeting in the morning at 8 o'clock in room 606. Thank you.
8 o'clock in the morning. Chairman Hilton. Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Gentlemen, I need you to listen up. Tomorrow, Emory Winship Cancer Institute, free prostate screening here at the Capitol. Get your prostate checked. Now, hold on. Don't get too excited. These are blood tests only, not physical exams. Free prostate screening. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Where will that occur? You have a location? Don't be funny, Dewey.
That'll occur 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. right out here between CLOB.
Okay, they have a van out there.
The van.
That was a serious question, y'all.
There'll be a van out there. It'll be marked. It'll be a marked van. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the floor.
Gotcha. Serious announcement. So, gentlemen, take care of it. Representative Ballard, ladies recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The House Education Policy and Innovation Subcommittee will meet today at 2 o'clock in room 506, and the Curriculum Subcommittee will meet at 3 o'clock, same room. Thank you.
Representative Van Smith, gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The subcommittees of the Ways and Means Committees will start today at 2:30. Chairman Williamson's will be first, and then we will follow with each subcommittee after that. So we'll have income tax, ad valorem. So make sure just come to all of them, starting at 2:30 in room 403 of the Capitol. Thank you.
Is that the adjusted time? 2:30, that's the adjusted time?
That's correct. It was 1:30, 2:30.
Okay, just making sure.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Important meetings. That concludes our announcements. Majority Leader of this House is recognized for a motion.